live. We're live. Hey, this is a good one tonight. If we get on and start talking about football, then
we needed like a break last week from not doing it for this topic tonight.
I think this topic is good. Let me put it up there.
Ooh.
Listen, I think this is great. I think this is a great topic. We're going to jump right in, and it's when fathers fail. Whew. I think that's a deep thing, and I'll just start it off. I'll jump head first, right down in, 10 toes down on this one because I have failed a lot. But I think we go back and we talk about, we say this over and over and over on the podcast. And Josh, you sent the video out the other day of Steve Harvey talking about your father is the only one who wants you to be better than him.
Yep.
I want my kids to be better than me. So why would I not talk to them, share with them my failures or the things that I think I've done wrong within my parenting, within everything that goes on. And I think that is probably one of the best things. If somebody were to come up and ask me, well, Matt, what is your best advice that you have as a parent, as a father, as a husband? What's your best advice? Is communication, and also talk about your failures. Let them know. I think too many people probably hide their failures. They don't want their kids to know about their failures and the things that they've done wrong. Man, I've fallen, I've scraped my knees, I've made mistakes in business and life and all those. And I have shared all of those things. I've shared all of those things with my kid. And I think the kids, and I think 100% that's probably one of the best things that I've ever done for my kids, because I think that affects their decision making as adults today. And that's what
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead, Deep.
Totally agree. This hasn't been an area that I've always strived or hit 100% in for sure. But I think now more than ever, especially as your kids begin to grow old, I think they need to understand the process that it takes to problem solve and to make good decisions. And so, like, I truly believe that as dads, as fathers, we're called to be role models. And so, like, when we own it and tell our kids, hey, we screwed the pooch on this one, here's what I would have gone back and done differently, or here's some things that I probably will think about the next time. Like, that's just so powerful. Because a lot of times dads, especially, our ego needs to be stroked, or we try to stroke our egos and thinking that we're this perfect being, but we're so full of fault and missteps. And let's be real with it, like, not just because we're male or not in and of ourselves. It's just because there's no manual to this thing. And like the game is constantly changing. So I think we got to give ourselves grace too, but to own it and then to admit it and to come out and say, hey, I'm sorry, or hey, next time, here's how I'll respond. And go to that individual, whether it be your wife, whether it be your child, and say, you know what, I really messed up. Will you forgive me? I think it's powerful. Or to own that maybe the next time I will approach that situation a little bit different.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think for me it's especially when you fail when you've made the decision, right? That's the toughest thing, falling on the sword or right in front of the kids, and you're like, hey, that's on me. But sharing failures, and I'm with Debo, like, I haven't been good about sharing failures like outside of what they see, maybe because I think there's a protection mode there. I think I put a video up or saw something that's like, my kids will never know that the house has fallen. They'll just know that the roof didn't leak. So I think that for me, it's like, all right, some of those failures, like if they see, it's like, hey, to them, yes, hey, that's on me, that's my bad. But I think some of those things, at least for me, when they were younger, maybe you get older and you're like, hey, you know what? I did that and this is how I handled it. And I would probably handle it differently now, or I try to show you them. But some of those things, I think there's a protection mode with that. There's also a learning mode. And I think it's kid related too. And I think age for me, Hudson's getting to that age. And my funny thing, Hudson, we were just at Hudson's first scrimmage or second scrimmage of the year. And my dad's sitting there. Me and my dad think athletes, ball play, all that stuff, parents and all that. And he's like, he needs to do this and he's got to stop doing this. And we're doing that. And I'm like, I tell him every time on the way home. And I looked over at my dad and my dad's like, and I just looked at him and I'm like, what? And he's like, I said, I know, like, those are things that were said to me, but he's so hard on himself, as was I. And I think I've said it here before. Like you said, your dad wants you to do everything better than him. But my dad just looked at me and I'm like, I don't know how to get him to understand that. And a lot of that's trying to talk through it and going, hey, dude, like I messed up then. I apologize to you that I handled it wrong, or man, I had to go back and talk to my dad about handling it wrong. But it was full circle tonight with this on failure. My dad's like, look, I should have done this, and this different. So it was kind of it was pretty cool that obviously that was happening right before this. But yeah, I agree with you, Matt, like putting it out there. And I think one of our jobs is a big part of it is knowing that they can handle that truth
Right.
of, hey, I lost my job and we can't do this and I'm sorry, or hey, I yelled, or hey, I got upset, or hey, well, like whatever that is, as long as they can handle that, because we don't obviously want to add more stress to the life than, we don't want to give them that. We want to protect them from that. But yeah, I agree with you, and I haven't always been good at that either. So I'm with you, Devo. Mr. Hart, how are you, sir?
Jump in, Mr.
Good.
Hart.
Man, I don't have anything to say right now. I'm blessed listening to you guys. I'm glad to be here. Sorry
Eric basically just said he didn't fail. He ain't failed yet. What he said?
No, I didn't say that. I didn't say that.
Well, hey, Dr. Huxtable came in with the quarter zip and was like, I got nothing.
Yeah, I got nothing. I'm just here to listen to y'all failures.
I'm here to listen to y'all failing. I'm good.
No. Very, very careful. Very aware. Know it's coming. No, but it looks a little different. Not really. Failure for me is coming up because my boys remind me of when we coached last year. Evans' team, we didn't win a game last year. Well, imagine that. And you say to your parents when you're like, we're learning, the guys are having fun. Ethan's team, they only lost one game, so you're on two sides of the poles. You're like, hey, I'm not good at this. And then, right. So do you blame the kids? You blame the coaches? What do you, you know what I'm saying? Like, no.
Yes.
I blame myself. So I thought about that the last 2 weekends. We had evaluations for this upcoming season. And I got that in my back of my head. Like, do I even want to coach the 8U this year? Those parents don't want to be on my team no more. So.
Those parents are evaluating you, and you're like, no, I'm trying to evaluate the kids. They're like, we hope we don't get Eric as our coach. No.
I know they're thinking that. So no. Failure, that's something you think about. It was funny because Erin asked me on the ride home from church tonight. She said, what are y'all talking about? I showed her the picture of when fathers fail. And she just casually said, yeah, but your future's aligned in the Lord.
Yeah.
And I was like, well, okay, then. That's a new way to look at fail. My future's aligned in the Lord. Hey.
So I looked at her and I said, nothing.
But that's true. Eric, if you go into it, man, my biggest lessons in life have come from my failures.
100%.
From the things that I have not done correctly. I mean, heck, you just got done reading all a lot of mine.
And a good book, by the way, boy. It's a good book. It's a good book.
Yeah, and Eric's been proofreading my book for me. There you go. I appreciate it. But yeah, it's the failures. That's where you learn, right? And again, we've talked about this over and over and over on this show as we try to protect. Man, let them fail. Yeah. Let them fall down, let them bust their knees up, let them come up bloody, put a little Band-Aid on it, smack them in the butt and say, get back in the game. Keep going. Yep. Because that's what you have to do. And if I could go back and I could talk about when I left the Marine Corps and I had the bad business partners and there was a gap there because I thought things were going perfect with these bad business partners. And I found out my bad business partners were bad people.
Bad business partner.
Exactly. But I missed it all. I didn't know until it was like it came back And I had been basically with no job for a number of months. I thought we were getting ready to ride high. I thought there was big business contracts coming, right? Because that's what I'd been told by them. Signed contracts, real contracts, signed contracts. They were fake. They're fake. How do you make that up? And I missed it all. And then I found myself scrambling to try to, I never thought I'd get back into the flying game. Never thought I'd fly another aircraft in my life. I'd been medically retired from the military from flying. I didn't think I was going to fly, but I needed a job. And guess what uniquely qualifies me, right? Of us four, what uniquely qualifies me? I can wiggle the sticks, right? But
Wiggle it just a little bit.
yeah. But look, that was God making my path for me.
Yep.
That was God that has led me to where I am today.
Mhm.
And I believe that. I believe that that's just part of my journey. I didn't hide any of that from my kids because I said, hey, don't mess up. Don't do it like I did it. In this
Mhm.
part, they know all about it. I've never held anything back from them on that because you said it, Josh, a minute ago. What happens when you don't have the money to do it or when you can't do something and you're trying to explain it to them on
Mhm.
why money's tight right now or why things are, where they are. I
Yeah.
didn't hide it. I just said,
It's a
"Hey, I
tough.
made mistakes. Why was I off working so much, making all that overtime because I was making up for this time here where I messed up." But they watched that work ethic. They watched what was going on here. I didn't hide it from them. I said, "Well, guess
Well, they could put the pieces together because
absolutely.
it's a tough part to not have that conversation, and then that's dad guilt or
Yeah,
mom guilt if you're having to do it. If you're having to, because we don't ever want to tell our kids no on something, especially if they need it or something that we've been used to doing, and something shifts. And generally, it's with
yeah,
money, it's with a job, and you're like, "Well, Dad, we went to McDonald's or we went to eat after church last Sunday, and the Sunday before that, we're like." We just ain't got it this Sunday. Well, what happened? But if they know that when it does happen and you're letting them out there, again, age specific, maturity specific, whatever, then it's like, hey, we can't. Then it's like, okay, cool. Like, then what are we having? So they're able to, because I mean, that's hitting it twice, I
yeah,
think, for a dad. It's like, hey, I failed because I've used a job for that. I lost a job, got fired, set down, whatever it
yeah.
is. And then your kids are like, hey, can we go do this? And you're like, nah, we can't. Well, why? We don't have the money to do it. Oh, that's like two punches to the gut.
Yeah, yeah.
And that's not a been there, done that as a kid, as a dad. Like
Oh, yeah.
that's a tough place to be.
It
That's a
is.
tough place to be.
It is, and the thing is when, "Oh, why is dad not here? Or why is he working again this weekend? Well, he's working again this weekend so we can go do this." And that's I mean, hey, that was reality.
Yeah.
They didn't miss out on anything. My kids didn't miss out on anything
Right.
because we made the choice to put our heads down and work to make sure we
Yep.
weren't missing out on anything, you
Yeah.
know? And we talked about it, how expensive is sports nowadays? How expensive is all that stuff? Man, life's just expensive, and
Yeah.
so if you want to do it, man, don't put your head down and go work,
Yeah.
go grind, go make the pennies.
That's
Although
right.
the pennies are going
Yeah.
away, but so,
No more.
I think that's
No more.
no pennies.
Too
no
expensive.
pennies no more. We ain't got no more pennies no more. 4 cents to make those. But yeah, I mean, I think that's not that women don't do that because they do have that drive, but I think, and we talked about it before, like that's what's in us. And maybe it's ego, maybe it's the drive, it's maybe the way the good Lord made us, or it's what like that it or whatever that we have deep down, that protection, that whatever that we'll do whatever and say whatever and we'll sleep when we're dead, or we'll do whatever. I mean, we've all done it, I'm sure. That's just like, yeah, why do you keep doing that? It's just how I'm made. It's just how I have to. It's not even how I'm made. It's like I have to because we've been to the bottom and scrapped and all of that. And I've been that as an adult. I've been that as a kid, and I've watched that and I've seen that. And I'm like, man, like I told y'all before, like even my dad went to Bible college. Like I don't ever remember going to the grocery store. I know my dad went to school every day, and I know he worked all the time, 2 jobs, 3 jobs, middle of the night, whatever. We didn't go without. but I don't remember going to the grocery store. Now, that was in the mid-90s when groceries was cheap. Now, but we would go to the food bank. We would do stuff like that, the church, all those things. But like you said, Matt, we didn't go without, but we knew something. Looking back now, I'm like, why ain't I never been into a Kroger till I was in high school? Like, I ain't never been to Food Line or nothing. Like, I never been to that, and never in middle school. But it's just something in us that just failure sucks big. Like, it's a big hurt for us as men, I think. And I don't know. It's just maybe it's ego. I don't know. I don't know what it is, but it's not fun. And then to have to be a parent and explain it or put it out there, it's like, oof.
Yeah. And see, and that's why I'm, I guess, strategically silent, because I'm listening to you guys, because I don't know honestly when that happens or what moment would happen, how old the boys will be when they actually will verbalize, Dad, you let me down, or Dad, you did this, because, you know, prayerfully, thankfully, they still think I hang the moon, you know, and so not that I've done anything great, but it's just that I'm really conscious of time spent with them. Try to meet them in their respective moments, pray for them, whatever the case. And so I know the time's coming. Perfect example, Ethan tried out for the middle school basketball team. He didn't make it. And I was prepared for the, son, you gave your best, you did it such and such. He stopped it real fast. Hey man, it's all good. At least you're going to coach 14U this year. He was already on to the next. He didn't give me a chance to work through those processes, or maybe say the wrong thing and get him, mad at me because I wasn't there in the moment when he was hurting. Mm-hmm. He wasn't hurting. Yeah, it's like, well, okay, good job, dude. Let's go,
Right.
And so I know it's going to happen. And that's what I say, like, I know I can lean on your experiences of when and what time, age, whatever. What I can say in terms of the moment that you failed, ask for forgiveness, that happens all the time with Aaron as a husband, and maybe maybe the training ground is more on the husband side of the equation and less on the father side, because I get more experience of asking for forgiveness with her, right. And so if mama's happy, then I know how to keep the boys happy, so that's one of the things I've learned. You're talking about the job thing, I made a big career shift, you guys know that. 2 years, gonna be 3, man, it's crazy. It's gonna be 3 years in February coming up. And when I think about just the money, the economics of things, and that decision was like, man, it could have potentially changed the trajectory of the family, but we haven't missed a beat. And even though I tell Erin sometimes I feel inadequate because I'm not bringing what I did, she's like, have you ever had to go out and panhandle? Have you ever had to go out and ask? Even on one salary, have we ever stopped? So that reminds me of that grace. It reminds me of that. God's chosen. He won't leave us, forsake us, and that. No, I'm not a failure in her eyes, even though the man side of me feels like I am sometimes, because some of the things we do, trips, are prepared for, trips. We don't talk about those things now. She lets me grind and build, and I see that the day is coming when, fill in the blank. But it's there. That failure mindset is there, on certain things when it pertains to her. But thank God that she reminds me that, no, I don't feel that way. Or no, I don't see you that way.
Yeah. I think a big thing too that we can read about, and I've read about it, and I'm sure you guys too, the difference in failing and being a failure is two totally different things. We're going to fail every single day at something. We're not failures. And one of the things that I speak that you guys can't speak about is I think I failed in divorce from the kid's mom. Like that's huge. Now, put them in a better position, things, young, dumb, like throw all that stuff out of there. That's one thing that I struggle with for a long time. It's like, we did this, yes, but speaking me, man, I did this. I'm the dad. I'm supposed to, and I think some dads feel like that when there's an argument or separation or divorce or whatever. I'm like, man, things are better, but what if? And it's like, man, I'd fail my kids. And I've had that conversation with my kids before too, is like, man, I'm sorry. Like, and Hudson was little. Hudson doesn't remember much. Bentley a little bit. But I'm like, look, things just weren't good. We communicate now. We're trying. We want to, everything's for you guys, all that stuff. But man, that was a thing for the longest time of like, man, you just failed your kids. You just failed your families. You just failed your friends. You just failed all of that. And it's like, ooh,
Yeah.
how do you get past? How do you get through that? Obviously, therapy helps. And I'm a perfectionist, like probably all of us on here. I also beat the dead horse with Devo. We like champions at that, world champs at that. So we can, I would beat my own dead horse and talk through like, this is me, I did this, and it's like, man, no, you're not a failure. Things work, things don't work, whatever. And man, that dad guilt is a thing for sure. It's a real thing.
Yeah, I'm glad you brought it up on the relationship, because I feel the same way. I mean, that's where a lot of it comes with Tisha, because I felt like during all that time I let her down, um, and it caused problems. That would be the only time that the big strain between us, because here it's my job, right, take care of the family, and here I was, I misread it, because I didn't I mean, I didn't have to leave that job, but I did, because I thought the grass was greener on the other side, and I found out it was dead grass with a dead horse on the other side. And
You found me and Devo's horses.
yeah, I found y'all's horses all beat down. But it's a lot. It's not just being a dad; it's being a father, and it's doing it like you're saying, Josh, and relationships and all that, right? But again, it's a path, right? And we can learn from that path, and we can grow from the path. I mean, y'all know what I teach when I go out and speak publicly, right? I teach decision making, right? And one of the things I talk about in that decision making is there's no such thing as a bad decision. Now, do y'all buy into that? There's no such thing as a bad decision? When you say, oh, well, you don't set out to make a bad decision,
No.
right? That's not that's not what we set out to do. And some might say, well, what about the bank robber? The bank robber, if he gets caught, that's a bad decision. Well, he didn't set out to get caught. When he first decided to go and rob the bank, he was going to succeed. Maybe he had succeeded in the past. So the thought process is, when we make decisions, we make it off the best available information that we have. That's how we make decisions in life, through life experience and all that. And we could all go back and make different decisions. And that's what I'm trying to impart on my kids is, you're going to make mistakes. When you make mistakes, catch them.
I disagree with that wholeheartedly, because when Dak Prescott threw that ball to Henderson on the inside shoulder before halftime, instead of throwing to the pylon and the back shoulder, he wasn't thinking he was going to make that catch. He was throwing it into double coverage.
Yeah, but he thought
all he had to do was throw it to the pylon. He had the sideline.
Yeah,
he could have turned and had the pylon and the sideline on his
that thing when he was going to right here and it was leaving his fingers, he thought he had made a good decision.
He thought he had made a good decision.
He quickly found out he didn't.
Everybody in Dallas knows you don't throw inside shoulder. You throw to the pylon, back shoulder. All the good quarterbacks know to do that.
Well, let's make sure we also point out the outcome was success.
Oh my goodness! Spot is
all
14
about the
points,
process, my friend.
Oh my goodness!
All about the process.
It takes 10 games to figure it out. Is that what we're saying?
Hey, not everybody learns at the same rate.
As I lost all my 8 youth basketball games last year, so
right.
That's the guy that's like,
you might come out and be 9U coach of the year. You don't know.
Nobody want to play for Coach Hart this year?
Yeah, you might be. Yeah, 9U.
Try it inside.
I know, right?
Yeah,
that's funny. That's funny.
Yeah, but I mean, you're right on that, Matt. I think that's you don't. Yeah, like you said, you don't set out to. I mean, I know we're all thinkers, and some of us think better than others, or longer than others, or far, whatever. But we process all of those things to go, okay, I overthink a ton. Like, all right, we're gonna make this decision. This is what we're gonna do. Just because it turns out to be the wrong decision doesn't mean it's the wrong decision. It's just circumstances or whatever. But that's where the pride comes in. That's where the ego comes in. That's where the hey, my bad. Like that's one of the hardest things, and not just being a dad, but relationships, friends, romantic, married, date, like whatever it is, family is for least for me, and has been for the longest time, like, that's my bad.
Yeah, look at this
That's my
question.
bad.
Look at this question right here. What moment you failed and ask forgiveness of your child? I
Mm,
told Joshua, I don't think I've ever asked for forgiveness. I told him I've screwed up. I didn't ask
right.
for forgiveness.
Yeah, I don't know if I've
But to
asked
your
you.
point, Eric, man, I've been on my knees asking for forgiveness from my wife from
Yeah,
screwing up. And that's
right.
the truth, because I took the family down this path that I didn't need to take it down this path.
Yeah,
But
yeah, but
I
they have.
also thank God I went down that path, to be honest.
Yeah.
I was about to say something inappropriate, get kicked out the club. Never mind.
And before you say that, let me try to save my brother.
Nah.
But think about it too. Like when we ask for forgiveness, like think how much credibility that gives to the relationship. And like
Yeah.
it should be a no-brainer. But we're so damn self-absorbed,
Yeah.
so righteous, so full of pride, just ego abound that
Yep.
we can't formulate the words to say, I screwed this one up.
Yeah.
We figure out other ways to kind of couch it and get to that same in our minds. We think we're saying I'm sorry, and asking for
It's those words
forgiveness.
like,
Yeah, like tongue-tied.
Man, I'm telling her I'm sorry. What are you talking about?
right. What are you doing? Right. Right. That's some,
Yeah.
but yeah, that's, I think sometimes that's the toughest one. And I'll go even, I'll look at it maybe from a different lens, or like, I'm perfectionist. One of the things that I worked on therapy last 3 years, 4 years is my therapist was like, Josh, not everything is going to be perfect. I want it to be perfect. I want this. That's just the way I want it to be. And she's like, you realize it's not going to be. Along with that was, you can't take everything that everybody has done to you and about all the situations and take it on yourself and apologize for it. So honestly, like, I went through a time, and Matt and I had to work through this. I'm like, well, my apologizing for it ain't on me. Matt's like, bro, that's you. I'm like, but so I think it's when you take it all on and you want to apologize for something that you're not needing to take, because the other person or the person, obviously, whoever it is, needs to take their portion, then it's like, hey, I can only do what I can do for myself. Same thing with my kids. Hey, that's my bad. I messed up. You got a place to play in this game too, is ping pong. I always tell my kids, I've told them since they were younger, look, I need you to communicate. I like to play ping pong. So when I hit the ball, it's going to come to your side. I need you to hit it back to me. I can play by myself. I don't want to do that. I would rather play with you. Don't drop the ball and don't drop your paddle. And that got to them, because they're like, oh, or we'd go to the store, Walmart or whatever, and I'd grab a ping pong paddle, and they're like, I know. I'm like, well, let's play. Like, what do you want to do? But it's little things like that to get them to understand that, hey, I'm apologizing. I'm down on my knees. I'm, falling on the sword, whatever it is. Sometimes it's you too, or sometimes it's the other person too. So,
Yeah.
Wes coming in. I knew Wes was, as soon as Wes came in, I knew Wes was going to drop something. I knew it.
Right? We're all trying to do our best. We're all trying to do things right. If we know the outcome and we know it's going to be bad, I mean, we're not Dak Prescott, but if we know it's going to be bad, we're not going to make that decision.
Right.
But we don't know. We don't
We
know.
don't know.
That's the hard part.
Josh, I love your ping pong analogy, or paddle ball. What do you call it? Ping pong.
Ping pong.
I love that that analogy, because just being able to see the paddle, they know, let's talk. Dad wants to talk. You want to give it back to me. But you're also modeling the behavior you expect when they're out of your sight, or with their spouse or significant other, that they have that paddle ball, ping pong ball that you taught them as a child. That's an expectation they set with their spouse or friend or whatever. And that's real,
It is.
that we're modeling the types of behaviors we hope that they will latch on and carry on for the things that they need. That may minimize the likelihood that they have to be forgiven for something, because they're in tune with that person to the degree that, hey, we're just talking. This is the moment we need to talk and reflect.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's yeah, they don't like they hate that. I mean, they don't like that analogy because I'm it's always me and Devo. Like, I don't know why me and Devo aren't like on the same like level, bottom or top or whatever. But like every time I would say that, they know in their mind, they're like,
Make that happen.
Dad needs me to communicate. Dad needs me to talk. Dad needs me to talk back. And and I don't know where I got it, or maybe it was probably, honestly, it probably was on one of my rants one day where I was just going off. I'm like, you want to play ping pong? I want to play, I'm probably like going off, and now I use it, but it makes a ton of sense because I mean, I can play by myself. That's not fun for me, and it's not fun for you because you're watching me play. I'd much rather put that side of that table down and you hit it back and forth. Don't catch it because then you're holding. Like, I don't need you to hold it and stuff it. I need you to, all right, you serve now. Like, you start the conversation. I'll start the conversation. We can continue it until this conversation's over. Then we'll pick it back up and play another game later. And that really helped them. Now, they get to a certain age and then they're like, yeah, I don't even like ping pong. So you're like, okay, well, like, whatever. We're done with this now. But it does get them to talk and does give them a visual, because I'm visual too. I mean, it's,
Hey, Devo,
do what I do.
Devo, why don't you answer Amy's question?
You read my mind because I done answered this thing like 4 or 5 times already since Josh was talking. Yeah, what if the dad doesn't take any accountability for situations or behavior? That's tough. That's tough. My first thought when I first read the question is, I love you, Amy. The first time I read that question was, how are you approaching dad? Just because I think that men, let me say me, and maybe I'm just different, but I highly doubt it. The majority of men that I've been around tend to respond somewhere in the upper 2 quartiles the way that I would answer this question. Like, if you approach me and you come off sideways, bruh, I'm hitting you back with that same flavor. Regardless if I'm right or wrong, it doesn't become about right or wrong. Guys are just so prideful. And so when I think about this question, I think about, I saw Judy Haas earlier this week, Eric. And so, so Judy taught us, when you frame it from I questions. So like, I feel like this when this takes place. If you say, you doing this, or you doing this, that, then it just, again, hits that defensive mechanism.
You attacking us at that point.
Yeah, which is just so innate for guys. And so, like, I would say, one, be careful about how you couch it. And I'm sure, Amy, you're not doing this, so I don't even doubt that I was kind of joking earlier. But I think it's always important to frame it in I questions. The second thing is, I think it's always good to calibrate with your partner, or with your former partner, or your current partner, or with your future partner, however you want to put that category together. Like, talk about what the expectations are. Again, someone said it earlier tonight. It's all about communication. And so, one, let me know what your expectations are, because sometimes you see things as a problem, but I don't. And so, like, sometimes I need for you to bring that to my awareness, just because it's not a big deal to me. Like, I'm gonna be honest with you, I'm kind of gassy, right? So I just discovered that my wife really doesn't like me being gassy, and now all of a sudden, we've been married for 20-some years, and now it's a problem. And like, baby, I've been farting for the last 25 years, and now you take exception to it. Like, it's becoming a really big deal. So I feel like I need to take my tail outside every time I.
You need to tell your wife she gotta stop pushing it down and she should have been telling you for years that it was a problem. Now it's her problem. Now it's her. She created that monster. Now it's her problem.
I thought we had an understanding. Like, about 3:30, just know it's coming. Be careful if you put them covers over your face, because you might just get. So. Yeah.
Hey, Devon, if Heather's within earshot, I'm gonna save y'all's marriage. Start eating pineapples and apples before you go to bed.
Try apples. Is that a trick?
Pineapples and apples, you'll dilute that mess. For
Okay.
real.
All right.
You start or pineapple juice, apple juice, some kind of thing to dilute that.
Hey,
Have
I'm all
have some
about
have some
self-improvement.
fruit. You need to have some fruit in your colon. You need some fruit in your colon. Stop eating all that
I
meat.
was not expecting that to come after that, like such good
At first,
part, Devo. You're
he was talking about being gassy. I thought it was like a word that he was trying to use it in place of something. You know what I mean? Like he was
Nah, bro.
gaslighting her or something like that.
Nah.
She's gonna let me
No.
gaslighting you.
Devo was gassy
he's
as
talking straight gas
Yeah.
right now.
Like,
Yeah.
tell him,
Straight
Eric,
gas.
I've been gassy my whole
been
life.
gassy
Like,
as
this
an
ain't nothing
RA
new.
coming in the meetings, Putin all the time. I'm like, dang, dude, where can we go? We can't go nowhere. But no. I'm just speaking from the colon. I'm the colon doctor now. Trust me, I know this. You better start eating you some fruit before you go to bed.
All right.
Sweeten
I got
up
some
that
pineapples
You don't even know what you're gonna learn on the
up.
Professional Dad podcast.
Yeah. It might not stop the gas, but it'll put a little flavor in it.
Ooh.
Different
I don't
kind
know
of
if that's
flavor.
a good mix, bro.
Different kind of flavor.
You got
put
to
some
what the
pineapple
ratio
in there,
is for
might
that one.
sting the nose or
Hey,
something.
you gonna have all the guys on the call eating fruit tonight.
Well, I will definitely report back next week on that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna definitely fire up some pineapples before I go to
But
bed.
Listen,
it can't be like pineapples and meat. It's just got to be straight fruit now. You can't be diet.
So I need that
it don't matter what I
chicken out
eat.
my diet.
Fruit.
Abby will tell you, and my friends that have been around me long enough, they're like, it don't matter what that man eats. It smells like sulfur all the time. Like I'm straight sulfur. They know. They're like, how we know that it's your butt all the way over here? That smells like a Josh fart. I'm like, how's it gotta be me? They're like, because it's nasty. No matter what I eat. I apologize to my kids all the time for doing that. My house sometimes smells. It's in the carpet at this point.
We are officially off the rails.
Yeah,
we off the rails. Come on, Devo.
Pull us back in, Matt. Pull us back in.
Oh man. Well, Amy. Yes, Amy. Back to you. Yeah, expectations, right? Just talking to them, and I know it's hard because I know a little bit about what you're going through and your situation. We've talked about it before, but I think you also can let him know that his kids need him. His kids need him right now, and it's tough, but you finding a way to, like you said, Devo, in a positive sort of manner instead of a direct, attack, because that's going to keep him shut down, in the long run, is part of it. So, brought us back in from the fart game. There we go. So, we're talking about, let's go to this one. Humility, because we just lost all humility there. How do we model humility without losing authority, right? We're the man.
Yeah, but I think the more you can humble yourself, be vulnerable in front of your wife or your spouse or friend, your children, I think that's a posture of authority.
Yeah.
I don't think that minimizes authority at all. I think it elevates it when you can be, I like Devo, you say, I made a mistake, or when you have that vulnerable moment or whatnot, or see you shed a tear, hey dad, what's wrong? Or hubby, why are you crying, or whatever. I mean, Erin told me not to talk about work situations, so I won't, but there are things that she's been going through that I've had to kind of be close to her, just to listen. She'll start talking and then just stop. And I just listen. And I think that moment of just connection where I don't have anything to say, I have things in my head that I want to say, but I can't. I just got to listen. And that's a posture of humility there, where you are now a nurturer. And you're creating a space where, they can now know that you trust you with their heart or their circumstance. True. Or whatever the case may be. And I will admit that that's not something I've always known how to operate in that space. I think the more that we have been married and the more flaws and warts that I've shown, the more I've realized, and I would even give credit to this group here, the more I've realized of how to be more open to listening for things that she's going through or that the children are going through without saying a word. But just I think I said on one podcast very, very early on with the boys, there was one time where it was just about proximity, something that happened, and I got up and I sat close to one of the boys with something they were going through, and it calmed them down. I didn't say anything, I just sat beside them. And so I think you gain authority through humility.
Yeah, I would echo that greatly. Like raising girls is just so different for me. Again, like I think about the times where either you get up and you go turn off the TV, or I get home a little bit earlier than 5 o'clock, and I'm sitting there watching Sports Center, and the wife comes home midway through Sports Center. Like, do you go greet them at the door? Do you give them you help them get the bags out the car? Like all those little things just speak volume. And so like that's something I've had to learn, because I haven't been good at that. So just knowing that my job is not to solve it. Again, I think I've talked about this probably ad nauseum. Just being in the role that I was in, I would put out fires all day long. And so like I'm well adversed at putting out a problem under 60 seconds, right? But I think the more that I did that, the more that I send the message that what you're going through isn't important. It's on to the next. And so I think you're smart to sit there and just listen and acknowledge the pain or acknowledge the emotion that's attached to it. And yeah, just have a conversation and just be present, be in the moment. Like that's what I sucked at, is like I very rarely was in the moment. I would be there, but you're checking your phone, you're trying to look at your watch out the side eye to see who it is or see what the latest score is. Michigan stumping Auburn right now, but all that stuff really isn't important when it all comes down to it. Like it's just not important. Like those people who are in those four walls of the home that you've overly paid for are the most critical thing in your life. And so you need to give them the necessary time and energy when it comes to it. Like everybody needs to channel their inner Josh. Josh has the most energy out of anybody I know. And like, some days they'll come home and I'm just flat. I'm like, suck it up, buttercup. Like hop up, cook dinner, unload the dish, like do something that's going to speak their language instead of always speaking yours and being so demanding. Like that's when life really changed for me as a dad, when I could start to own my shit.
Yeah. Well, I think it, like what you guys said, being able to show emotion as a man is not something any of us grew up with. It just wasn't. It's not taught. It's not there. So crying in front of our kids drops that, like Eric said, what's going on, Dad? My kids know if they see me crying, it's not good. In a relationship, now, romantic, married, family, social media, you guys, if I'm crying, something's going on. Either I'm so filled with emotion that they're happy tears and that's just how I'm letting it out, or I'm just broke and I'm done. And one of the things I think, to piggyback off what you guys said, is the relationship piece that I have learned is allowing women to be in that, us to be in this masculine form and allowing them to immerse themselves in their, I'm going to sound like I've been listening to a bunch of women, but that's what I'm surrounded with all the time. But like allowing them to be in their femininity. Like you take care of it. You're the man. And allowing us to do that in a constructive, respectful, whatever way, to be able to show emotion, to be able to express feelings, to do what Debo said. I'm not the great at it either. I'm like, all right, we're done with yeah, well, let's just do it this way. And you try to fix it, and that's not what they need. So I've learned that with friends of mine, learned that relationships, family, my sister, like those people, but it's okay for us to show emotion. It's okay for us to let that wall down, because we don't have to be, it almost makes us, like Eric said, tougher and realer maybe when we do that, because it's like, he does got feelings. He's not just fill in the blank at that point. So that's one of the things that I've learned is, I mean, some of you guys know I do my little like worship night on Sunday nights, man. I was in Richmond, I think a couple months ago. Like I'm in the terminal at the airport playing worship music, getting ready to call it out, and I'm sitting in the airport bawling like a baby. Like just the overwhelming emotion of like I'm crying online in front of however many people are on there. Like it doesn't make me soft. It doesn't make me human. And I think that's what sometimes men have a hard time realizing, is that it's okay to bow that head, lose that ego, just kind of be. It's tough.
So
It's
let's
tough.
talk about this verse. Who wants to take this on? Because I think this is spot on. I mean,
Whew.
I'll talk about it real quick from my point. I mean, if I look at my journey through the last 30 years as an adult, yeah, it's my weakness, it's my bad times, it's my falling on my knees, it's my scraping my knees, it's my failures that have brought me closer to God. And I think that you have a choice in life. I think you truly have a choice in life when you're going through your tough times, when you're going through your failures. Do you turn to God and ask for his grace and ask for his guidance, or do you turn away from God? And I think that if you really get around a lot of people, unfortunately, as a counselor, the last number of years, I've had a lot of men turn to me in their tough times, in their real tough times when they're considering, bad things. And I would say almost all the times when they're considering, harming themselves or bad things, they've turned away from God, right? He's not present at that moment in that time. So I think you hit these crossroads in life when you do have those times when you make mistakes, when you stumble and you fall, that you have to make the choice. And I think this is the only choice that you have right here in this
Yeah.
Bible.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, it's faith and sorry, Eric. It's
Okay.
faith and fear. And we've said that before. You can't have both. You can't fear failure, fear life, fear what's going to happen next, what ifs. You can't fear that and have faith that everything's going to be okay. It's not two things that you can feel at the same time. So you either got to do one or the other. And I think that's where the faith comes in, is turn towards God. Like, you got this. You got it. Or I'm going to feel fearful. I'm going to turn completely away because I think I can do it on my own and I'm scared and I don't know what to do.
I'm in agreement with all of it. This is a topic for itself. We could take a whole hour and talk about this, but one of the things my pastor was just talking about tonight they're just reminding us of is that when we work, and I always talking about your job, but when we're restless and not thinking, oh, we got to do this, got to do that, you got to work, then God rests, but when we rest, God works. He's ready to do on your behalf when we would just lie down in green pastures and let him do what he's designed to do. I heard someone else take it a step further, and I thought it was pretty wild. I was taking my mother-in-law to Charlotte this morning to the airport, that Jesus Christ is a gentleman. He's not going to force his will on you.
Yeah.
He's not going to force anything, all the things he wants to do for you. It's like a maitre d' with the napkin around his arm, standing there with the plate, ready for you to ask for what you want, to open it up and place it on your table. That's his purpose, is to give you what you want, but he's not going to force you to get it or to have it. You have to ask for it. And when I think about this verse that you have, I've had to get in a posture of just gratitude, and thank God for the moments where I feel at my weakest, that he inhabits the praise of his saints to come to him and know that I'm struggling and say, I can't go any further. In my strength, I'm gonna mess it up. I'm gonna jack up life. I can jack up life. But when I get to the point where I'm at the bottom of the barrel and the wood's too wet and I don't want to taste it anymore, this rises to the top of my thought process, is that God, you're faithful to do what you said you would do, and it's, I need to see your perfection in whatever it is that I'm dealing with, or what we may be dealing with, and so that's something that I'm constantly, like, grace is unmerited favor is something that we don't work for. It's something that's freely given, and I believe that. And so with what you were saying, Matt, where you can make the decision to, make some terrible decisions or not. God is the only answer. And I know there may be folks listening and be like, no, I don't believe that, man. I'm telling you, the only answer. But he's not going to force his will upon you. Not happening. Not happening.
I totally agree with that, and I think that's a good word. I'm really going to walk away with the wet wood comment. I like that. I'm going to put that in my lexicon. But if I look back at all the failures that I've had in life, or what one would label failures, it's all for my own doing. Like, I thought the DC way was the best way. And God just wants us to love him. God just wants us to rely on him and consult him and talk to him and share with him. Everything that he's given me, us, in my lifetime is it, like, we're stewards. Like, this life of ours, we're just stewards. Like, I was asking somebody the other day, I was having this conversation. It's like, why does God but why is one person get their life cut short, or why does one person get a divorce, or why does one person lose a child? Like, and it goes back to, one, I truly believe that God will not give us more than what we can handle. But he also wants us to fall on our face, to love on him, and to know that he's the true way and the will. And I think a lot of times we can get ourselves in all types of janky situations, just thinking that we don't need him. And that may not be like an audible reaction, but our actions communicate the same thing, right? Most communication is done through behavior. And so, like, we just got to check in. We got to check in and make sure that we rely on God. And it's nothing but his grace, which allows us to have a tenth of what we have. At any moment, everything could be taken away, and we can start back over at ground zero. And then what would you do? Sure. And so, like, we just have to, like, the older I get I'm being dead serious. Like, this whole faith walk and just saying thank you, and just, it's not me. It's not me. I'm going on that 3-year mark too, Eric. Who in the hell quits their job making good money when they're 50? You know what I'm saying? And go on to take pictures, right? And so I had a whole lot
we all have, and I think that's where you're talking about too, is like failure, or we're like, you know what, we're gonna make this decision. Part of it's selfish, part of it ego, but part of it's like, hey, what could this do? Because I'm betting on myself to take care of my family, to take care of my kids, to take care of the future. That's in us. I kudos to both of you for that. I've done it too. Not 50, because I ain't as old as y'all, but I did. But I think, like, hey, I'm out. I want to do this. I want to go bet on myself, because then if I don't let as many people down. They're the closest to me, but if I don't know, it's that entrepreneur brain. It's just different.
Well, I would tell you real quickly that what I've learned in this season that I'm in, and Devon, this might be similar, is that there comes a time, potentially, that every man will have to question, are they walking in their purpose? Yeah. Because there's a difference in having a job, having a career, but also walking in purpose.
100%.
This walking in purpose may look very different than career and job, because I realized it came that I was a helper, that I've been put on this earth to help connect people, make connections, to just help. And the role that I'm in now, it does a lot of helping, but there are times when I don't feel qualified, just intellectually qualified or whatever. But the beauty of it all is that when I'm working with someone and I connect them with an expert, I've done my job to just make a connection to an expert, and I just had the relationship. And so when I see those things happening, I'm like, well, Lord, if I had known this was even something I could be doing for a career, I would have done it at 25 right out of college.
Yeah.
But it wasn't the right time.
Yep.
And to take it a step further than that, Aaron and I 6 years ago had started talking about what would life be like working on one salary. We thought about that 6 years ago. What would that be? What would that look like? Could we do that? So in our own strength, we never pulled the trigger. Never pulled the trigger. So it was just stacking in our own strength. But thinking about it, and then when we come to this, crossroads where that's what's happening now, man,
Like to call it a pivot.
pivot, hard pivot. When I say I'm more free, I'm more
sir.
free than I've ever been at any point in my life in terms of giving time to the kids, to the family, to just things that I want to do. I volunteer so much in the schools, both the middle school, elementary school, coaching. It's like God was like, see, I was a gentleman and I waited on you to figure it out. But I had it all laid out. As soon as you begin to operate in your purpose, your life takes off into a totally different direction, and you can be who I designed you to be. And so that's the mouthful, Devo, why we can make those decisions at 50. It's not the decision because we had to make a pivot. We were just getting closer and closer and closer to God's design and plan for our life to walk in purpose.
Yeah.
I would like to. I see the question, Matt, but I
Yeah.
just wanted to kind of piggyback real quick. I think it's all about evolution, and I think God develops us and evolves us to that perfect purpose within that season, like what you just touched on. I think that's very eloquently said.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, this is well, the question I put in the chat, but this is we're up at an hour here, so we'll just kind of go out with this. Is failure doesn't disqualify you; it deepens the dependence on God and models grace for your kids and wife. I would agree with that, or significant other. I do think you're right, Eric. It's not just about the kids; it's about your relationship with your significant other and your wife. As we go out today, and I'll put this challenge up there for this week. If you have to, do it. Pray together. It's Thanksgiving, right? What a week! What a week to be talking about this, right? Thanksgiving. You're going to be with your families, your kids. Josh's going to be at 50 games and all. He's way. We'll have you in mind. But listen, I'll say this on the way out. What I was thinking, and you can think about it as you go. It's like I find myself sometimes just like with flying, with convene, with everything that's going on. Man, I'll get busy, and then I'll like come to myself, and I'll be like, man, I have not gone to God in prayer. It's like I'm so busy, and then I'm like, I'm sorry. So that was my question that I want y'all to think about as you go away, and you can maybe make a comment on that. It's like, what do you do? Like I find myself apologizing.
Absolutely.
Apologizing.
100%.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, God, that I haven't come to you in prayer. I've allowed myself to get so busy that I have not, and come to you, and I hate when that happens. I hate it. I feel so bad. But it's like you said, Eric, man, he's there. He's there. We can turn to him. But so as we go away, I mean, I'll let y'all make your last comments as we roll out. But that was just on my mind as we were talking about some of this stuff.
He loves you, Matt. He loves us all, even in our failures and our weakness, just like you put up on the screen. So give yourself grace. I'm gonna give a plug to Joseph Prince. Our pastor asked us to download the Joseph Prince app. 67 days today makes 67 days in a row that I wake up first thing in the morning and listen to the Joseph Prince. Oh yeah, I did.
6'7".
Today was 6'7". Oops.
6'7".
Just trying to keep you relevant.
6'7".
I can't wait till tomorrow morning to 68. Get off of that. But anyway,
And I bet you can't really wait till the
oh,
next day. But
man,
that's the point.
look at
That's
but
really,
but it changed. It's a mindset shift. I mean, it's a mind shift to just wake up and want to experience grace before you give the world your time. And so kudos to you, Matt, for realizing that. Just give,
Yeah.
you'll be all right. Give yourself grace.
Yeah, you're right.
You'll be fine.
I'll echo what Wes said earlier. We didn't put it up, but all of our problems are unmatched expectations. That's just like, and I think it's if you love hard or you love big, then no one's ever going to match that. So our expectations are too high, and that's something that in a roundabout way my therapist said, it's about expectations. Stop asking the question if you're not getting a response. Just make a statement and just move on. So I like that what Wes said. So I'll leave it at that. Unmatched expectations. Maybe we just need to check our expectations on fill in the blank.
Devo, last words to you, brother.
Yeah, I was going to make a horrible joke, but I won't because this is the serious time of the show. But what I will say is slow yourself down. Like, remember what your foundation is built upon. And then, two, I'll give the old adage, measure twice, cut once. And I think before we venture out and get into a situation, fall on your knees, man, and pray about that thing. Like, just ask for guidance, ask for clarity, ask for direction. Because I think in our mind's eye, we think we have it all mapped out. But if we just ask the question, so much more can be given to us, or we may begin to see things differently and could avoid some potential pitfalls.
Amen.
Have a great week, folks.
That's word.
Amen to that. Happy Thanksgiving to everybody.
Yeah, happy Thanksgiving, y'all.
Hey, Eric,
Eat hearty, people.
something was
Eat
on your
lots of
list there.
food.
What were you gonna
Wear
say?
your sweatpants. They make sweatpants that look like jeans, and they make sweatpants that look like khakis. I'm just saying.
That's all good. Love you guys.
All right, love you guys. All right, happy Thanksgiving, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Later.